This is Python's Paradise. This is your film and music show straight out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena. And folks, it is September 3rd, 2021. Pandemic wise, we're simmering down, but I'm double vaxxed, looking forward to the convention scene this fall and looking forward to get back on campus doing my show. But in the meantime, we've got some wonderful music and some wonderful musicians lined up for us tonight. Folks, we have the fellows of Take Two. No, that's not a film term. These guys don't have to do it again. They perfect it the first time. They get it on take one. Folks, I give you Brent Butterworth and Ron Cygers. Did I get that right?
Cyger, correct.
Cygers, okay. My apologies. I've never seen your last names before, and I hate mispronouncing people's last names. I like to try to give everybody as much respect as I can, but welcome to the show, guys. Angela has been pitching you guys to me for the last month, and I know things came up where we had to reschedule, but that's fine. All's good on this end, and I'm happy to have you both.
Well, we're it's wonderful being here. Speaking to someone in New Brunswick, I don't think I remember the last time I spoke to someone in New Brunswick.
I never have.
New Brunswick. So you spoke with somebody in New Brunswick. Where that place, I swear, when wrestlers say, like when the Ultimate Warrior, when they said he was from parts unknown, I swear he must have been from New Brunswick because nobody knows where New Brunswick is. You have no idea how many people have said to me, you mean there's a time zone above New York? Yeah, us. We got the Trailer Park Boys, though. We got them. They're our claim to fame.
Yeah.
So if you're familiar with them, well, that's pretty much our.
That sounds good.
Yep.
That is good.
But we got the jump on the pandemic. I know that because I was back in our movie theaters in July 2020.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, we were free until a doctor in Camilton decided to leave the province and came back and infected one of his patients. So, but I got double vaxxed and I did it so I could travel this fall because I like going to Toronto every year and I did it for that. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
We're all vaxxed up. We're ready to go. We can't wait for Southern California to open up a bit more so that we can get out, start playing and things like that. Right now, everything is really, really cautious.
Did Angela O'Neill give you two your vaccines?
Yes, but I'm not going to tell you where.
Did you guys give her vaccine?
Yes, but we're not going to tell you where.
I've interviewed a lot of musicians out of California,
Yeah.
And I've interviewed Kimberly Haynes. I don't know if you're familiar with her. No, I've interviewed Peter Foldy, who's a musician out of California. I know Mike Gormley has sent me a lot of people who's manages and represents a lot of people, but and of course I've had people like Tiffany's been on here, Tony Basil's been on here, and people like that. But you two remind me very much of what we have happen here every fall, and hopefully, knock on wood, we'll have it happen here this year, called the Harvest Jazz and Blues Festival. It goes on for a week, and a lot of local bands played there, but they brought in Steve Earle, they brought in, people like that, and you two kind of put me in mind of that.
Oh, I guess that's good.
That is good.
Okay, good.
That's all positive. That is a big thing that goes on here every year,
It sounds
So,
exciting. Sounds like a good reason to go to New Brunswick. Definitely.
oh yeah, oh yeah, and yeah, that's a big thing every year. Last year they didn't have it because of COVID, and that of course was a downer.
Yeah.
But hopefully we can beat this thing. We can beat this thing
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
unlike my cat, who's around here somewhere, he's my take 2 second. I can't stay in the apartment all the time, so there you
Yeah.
go.
Yep.
So I take it you guys have been keeping yourself in practice and all that while this whole mess in our society has been going on.
Kinda. We've been working, but we're it's weird in the pandemic because we started doing a lot of recording, and recording is kind of different from practicing. And I think we probably both got so wrapped up in the recording that we kind of stopped a lot of the normal practicing that we would do.
Mm-hmm.
So we probably both got better in some ways and worse in other ways.
Yeah, it's like this whole pandemic really started a whole recording Zoom episode in everyone's lives, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was last March, April. I mean, we were in the not 2020, not 2021, but 2020. And the pandemic started. We were all in our homes, nowhere to go. And Brent kind of suggested, well, why don't we try just bouncing some tracks off each other and all that? And Brent is a recording electronic genius. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
all I do is play saxophone, but he is a genius.
Well, you are a Zoom mastermind. Look what you
Oh.
taught me tonight.
Okay, I have a little bit.
I know how to do it. I don't know that I call that a genius. I can create something that you would recognize as audio and video.
So anyways, Brent had this little 8-track recorder. Remember 8-track recorder?
Yeah, my dad and mom still have an 8-track machine.
Exactly, but this one was digital. And so I said, "Great, that's fantastic." And so Brent recorded a bass line. We agreed on a tune. He recorded a bass line on this little 8-track recorder, and I didn't have one. So he drove over here. He wiped it all down with Lysol and all that, and put it in a bag and made sure the bag was sanitized and all that, and left on my doorstep because we had no idea what COVID was at that time. That was back in March 2020. And so I took it and I recorded my track, and I forget exactly what happened then. You have another little 8-track, or you have a 12 track.
I have like a 24-track thing.
Okay.
But and then we mixed it, and that was Fandango, right? A tune that we'd already played on gigs before, and of course our gigs stopped, with the pandemic, so we kind of had nothing to do. And so Ron wanted to do an official, like, kind of studio recording, which we did. And then Ron put together a masterful video on Facebook using, like, the automatic Facebook video thing that says, like, make video or something.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. It was a button somewhere on Facebook. Yeah.
And so he posted that on Facebook. And I looked, it's the thing like on Facebook where it makes like an automatic slideshow showing, I don't know, puppies or something. And
kittens always are good.
So I saw this and it's kind of like, I kind of don't want, I am, so like I've been an editor at like audio and video publications for 3 decades. And
Genius.
So I kind of felt like, I kind of don't want this thing to be out there as like a Facebook slideshow so I should do a video and actually do a video. And because, I do that for corporate clients and things like that. And so I recorded one of my tunes. So I said to Ron, well, why don't we record one of my tunes? And so we did that. and I'll do a video, and I can't remember which tune that was.
Might have been Buddy's Bounce.
It was, I think it was, and so which we're gonna play for you, and so I did this video, and you know, and you know, I came over to Ron's place, and we were still, you know, masking and stuff at the time, but we were both very well quarantined, and you know, we hadn't like seen hardly anybody for a couple months, and so we kind of shot the video with I think we used a cell phone, and but it comes out, cell phones are really good at shooting video.
Cell phones are really good.
And I edited it all together, and then we put that out, and then we did
we did Fandango, we did something else.
Apprender. Another tune of Ron's, and then we did another tune of mine, which was, what did I end up calling it? The Sadie Shuffle. I think
so, yeah.
And so we'd done all these videos. And then would you like to tell the rest, since it's more your connection than mine?
I'm not sure where you're going with this.
Well, okay, so Angela O'Neill, who you've already... Okay, so Angela, why don't you tell the Angela story?
Well, so we had these 4 tunes, and they were originals.
On YouTube.
On YouTube and all that. And Angela and so we decided, hey, we're halfway to an album. And so we decided, hey, we're going to do an album. I mentioned this. I play in a band that Angela owns.
Mm-hmm.
And the Outrageous 8, it's a great band. We're cooking, playing all over Southern California now and all that.
Is that like the Hateful Eight, only you guys aren't stranded?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
They're not. No, they're all over the place, and they don't hate each other either. I think mostly. Very few of them hate each other.
And so Angela came up with this idea of doing Outrageous 8 records. The name of the group is Outrageous 8. Angela O'Neill and the Outrageous 8. So she created Outrageous 8 Records with really the wonderful idea of promoting music by individuals within the Outrageous 8. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so we are her first album. So we got cracking. We said heck with the videos, and we churned out 4 more tunes, and we have 1 cover tune.
Churned at the rate of like maybe 1 a month ish.
Well, there's churning and there's churning.
So churning is kind of like maybe a little too dramatic of a term. And then we spent a long time mixing it. And by this time we got into, you know, like we both decided we had to get digital audio workstations. So we did that and started doing everything on the computer and started to explore that whole world, which is just like a whole nother world of production. And,
new microphones, new setups,
we went through, Ron went through like umpteen microphones, and I went through 2 different basses and 4 different sets of strings, and so it took a long time to mix to try to get the sounds kind of balanced out to where every track didn't sound like a completely different group.
Yeah.
And then we had it professionally mastered, which partly because some of the tracks did sound, they weren't as consistent as they would be had we known what we were doing. So we had a really good mastering engineer who's done about 3,500 records or something, go in there and kind of tweak it up a little bit. And
then we produced a CD. And so the CD, do I have a copy? Yeah, I must have a copy. Do you have a copy? No? Oh.
Should I go get a copy?
Yeah, no, I'll get one.
You can get a copy. Do we have any left? Did they all sell out?
I think I saved one.
I think Angela bought them all.
I don't know if Angela. I think we dropped off some for her. I don't know. I've got a box and Ron's because we're sending them out for promo purposes, and she's got some because they are for sale and they have sold. They have actually been ordered, so I know she has some. But
Yeah, so
Welcome back. We missed you terribly.
ah!
Brent was getting
Anyways.
lonely.
So this is a really beautiful album. I'm really proud of it, Debs. It's
Oh,
called
that looks great.
Oh, thank you. And we decided that in the end we're gonna actually do a dog theme. So this is whoops. Am I
You can see our dogs in there because our dogs were a lot of the inspiration for this. Or I guess they were. I mean, it was really kind of more like we just needed some tune names, and we figured name the tunes after dogs.
Yeah, what the hell?
So, because what else are you going to name them after?
Yeah.
Cats.
The cats are my wife's. The dog is mine.
And so
is very ashamed right now. He's hiding now.
And so the one cover tune we did was "How Much Is That Doggy in the Window?" because then that kind of fits the.
I remember that song.
Yeah.
Thing, which we turned into like a jazz blowing tune as opposed to dun 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 dun. Now it's more like dun, dun, dun,
it's a pretty swinging tune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Buddy was Brent's Labrador
Retriever. Yeah.
What color was he?
He was yellow, and Sadie was my black lab.
Oh, okay.
And then Missy is my current dog, who's on the album, my Shih Tzu. And Louie
is my dog. Well, my wife's dog, I guess, but my dog. And so he's represented by Waltz for Louie on the album.
So you guys don't have a wiener dog?
No. That would be funny.
But that would be good. Maybe next time. Maybe we'll adopt we'll go to Dachshund Rescue and get a thing.
I'm gonna ask, who were your musical influences growing up?
Maybe I better start this because you have vastly more influences. Okay. My musical influences. Actually, I grew up playing saxophone or clarinet saxophone or whatever, and probably the very first saxophonist I heard was this guy that wasn't well known until he died during COVID. COVID basically killed him. Lee Konitz. Lee Konitz is an alto saxophonist, mostly in New York. He lived in Europe for the last half of his life. And he was 90, 92, 93, and he was still playing. He put out 2 or 3 albums a year up until his death, basically. Just very, very prolific. Truly one of those individual jazz masters. But other influences include people like Dexter Gordon, Phil Woods, Charlie Parker, of course, lots of really wonderful, Miles Davis, Clifford Brown.
One of the greatest saxophone sounds I ever heard was in Baker Street.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't even know who that was.
Was that George Rafferty?
Jerry Rafferty.
Jerry. Sorry, I got the name wrong. Jerry.
He was the guitar player and singer.
Mm-hmm. Right, I know, but the sax player, it's
I
can think of it. It's the one that in the 80s, late 70s, 80s,
late 70s.
Yeah.
That was an incredible saxophone sound. That was.
And it's funny that we don't know who the sax player was, just like we don't know who the sax player on Careless Whisper was, right? And those are like two of the most iconic and hated, loved saxophone solos in history.
But everyone knows the sax solo on Billy Joel's "I Love You Just the Way You Are," right?
Mm-hmm.
And that sax solo is probably by one of the greatest jazz masters around, Phil Woods, who also recently passed away.
I have interviewed 3 of the Blues Brothers band, and one of them.
Wow!
One of them was Blue Lou.
Oh
Speaking
my
of,
God. Lou
yeah,
Marini, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. He sent me a CD. I got it packed away because I'm kind of in between places until my tech guy / brother and his wife and I get our own place, Yeah, so I'm kind of here right now, but
Yeah.
he sent me a CD on their latest work. I interviewed him in 2017 and had Willie Hall on, of course, the drummer, and I had Murphy Dunn, the keyboardist.
Yeah.
But you mentioned saxophone, and of course, Blue Lou
Yeah.
played the saxophone.
Yeah.
And of
Right.
course, uttered that famous line, chicken wire. Did you guys play behind chicken wire?
Um, no, because usually we play wine bars, and I think that I've yet to be at a wine bar where anyone throws the
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 bottle.
patrons do not pose a danger to us.
Just don't go to Bob's Country Bunker.
No, I don't think we get hired.
Actually, I was on the road and we played a couple of places like that in Kansas and all that. And I think we were up in, not Calgary. What's the city right in the middle of Canada?
Saskatchewan?
Saskatchewan? No,
Winnipeg?
starts with a C. Winnipeg. Starts with a C. Winnipeg.
Yeah, Winnipeg.
Starts with a C. Winnipeg.
Yeah. Well, Anyways, yeah, that was on a tour doing the Western States and Western Canada and coming back down around. And yeah. There were a couple of bars. I think there could have been chicken wire. Maybe there was chicken wire for other bands and all that.
Yeah, they took it down for you.
Yeah,
you
that's
guys were because
There
they
you
wanted
go.
you to get hurt.
I never thought of that.
Well, those guys were great to interview, but yeah, Blue Lou still going and still rocking that cool hair.
Yep.
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 Yeah,
yep.
he and I actually had the same dorm room in college because I went to North Texas State, famous music school. Although I didn't study music, but it was one of the drawers was signed Louis Marini Jr. like 1965 or whatever year he was there.
Mhm.
So he and I have a connection, even though he doesn't realize it.
Well, who are your influences, Brent?
Well, the Banana Splits for first and foremost. Kenny G. No, seriously, I would say actually, for my guitar playing, my biggest influence is Steve Cropper, who's in the Blues Brothers band.
Blues Brothers. Haven't had him on here yet. I'd like to get him.
He's been one of my idols since I was a little kid. I mean, I just think he's, and for people who don't know, he was with Stax Records and he played on like all the Otis Redding records, and he's in Booker T and the MGs and all that. And has played on like a million records. He's really classic, straightforward, simple, grooving guitar player. R&B kind of guy. And but I'm influenced by like back in the 70s, there was a record label called CTI, and there were a lot of people on it like Stanley Turrentine and George Benson and Ron Carter and Grover Washington. And it was kind of like a pre-smooth jazz. So it wasn't quite smooth, but it was kind of really like kind of hard swinging and accessible and fun and beautifully recorded. And that's like my touchstone for life is those records. To me were just like the absolute greatest. And I think that some of what we tried to do with this is recapture that vibe, that kind of accessible, not like crazy weird jazz people can't figure out, but like that kind of, it's not like Kenny G exactly, actually nothing like Kenny G, but except that it's also sound like Kenny G, but it's more like a little more like the early George Benson stuff, and the kind of grooving, swinging, fun, accessible melodies, solos that kind of maybe tell a bit of a story and aren't like the crazy technical things. And I guess, and those records all have Ron Carter on them. So
Yeah.
so
That could be an influence.
there was an influence. Yeah. So there was so they all had great bass playing, and our record has bass playing, which is not great, but it's bass playing. It's double bass.
It's really good.
Real bass. So, and Ron Carter's big. He's a big influence on every jazz bass player. I mean, he's just he's like Coltrane is with sax players. He's just inescapable. He can't not be an influence on you.
Yeah.
So I guess that was kind of my big thinking. And Ron was really, we were really, we're very different in our musical approaches, I think, but it completely gelled. It was very kind of simpatico. We both kind of seemed to come to the same place from different directions.
Mm-hmm. Well, we both have some philosophies. Whatever we do has to be entertaining. Whatever we do has to be interesting. It has to have interest to people who understand the music we're playing and people who don't understand the music we're playing. Mm-hmm. It has to. What else? It has to be fun. It has to be fun for us to do.
It had to use instruments we could play.
It had to use instruments we could play.
Because we didn't use a lot of outside musicians on this, only a little bit.
Yeah, and on this one, so we had started off telling you about this multi-track thing we started doing. We started to get more and more into the multi-track type thing, bouncing tracks between each other and all that. So every track except one, I think, has 4 different instruments at least, maybe 5 different instruments.
5, 6, 7 in
some
cases.
We have bass and guitar on everything. We have ukulele, a couple of saxophones. I play 3 saxophones and flute on different tracks and all that. We played various percussion instruments.
A whole lot of different percussion instruments.
So it really sounds good, and we'd love to play something for you.
You want to play something right now?
You sure?
Okay, because I'll have questions for you when we come back. Introduce this first track that you're going to play here.
Okay, well, this is one I wrote. This is actually one that it was totally. So I was talking about CTI records. This is really us trying to get the sound of like a Stanley Turrentine CTI record, just hard swinging, grooving. It's actually a what in jazz they call a contrafact, which is like a melody written over the chord changes from another tune, which Ron kind of dared me to do because he does a lot of that. And we were sitting here smoking cigars one night, and he said, "You should write a contrafact." I said, okay. And so we sat there flipping through our phones because we have this program called iReal Pro, which has all these chord changes on it. And just flipping through different tunes. And I found one called Suddenly It's Spring, which is a not super well-known standard, but it had cool chord changes. And so I kind of played the chord change. I'm like, I'm going to do this. I went home that night. I got home at like 10 at night. I had the demo recorded within 2 hours and sent it to Ron that night. And what you hear is not that demo, but the tune's written. I didn't change a note, and we just added some solos and an intro and an outro and a couple little and did some arranging on it, and this is you want to just play it?
Sure. Sure. Let me.
This is a first for me to have a shared screen like this. This will be great.
Okay, actually.
And it'll sound great too whenever I do play it down at the station.
And the video was shot in Ron's backyard.
Okay.
Here we go. And the name of this tune, Brent,
is Buddy's Bounce.
Okay.
And here we go. Oh. There we go. Yeah.
Wow, that was fantastic. That was done so well. I love the lighting, the primary colors like the reds, the yellows, the orange, and I love that zoom cut that goes up the neck of the
Up the
string
guitar deck.
Oh, I love that. You could kind of see me nodding there at that. I love that's so creative, and where you got the cuts that go there, and so great. And of course, the piano keys that just
all this phone right here.
you know what's amazing?
I edited it on a computer, but we shot it on the phone, and
it's amazing because you know, you mentioned 8-track machines. My parents still have one, and
Sure.
you know, I remember going to when I was in school. We had a little thing called typewriters. We have phones that you could only go so far with because they were attached to the wall. You know, it's interesting because I'm right now in 9 James Balsamo movies. I cameo in 9 of them.
Mm-hmm.
With my all I was told is to shoot my scene on my phone and send it to James. I've got 2 scenes where I'm being watched on a television by Eric Roberts, and I never met the guy, never was to California, but the movie played at the Chinese Theater in Los Angeles, and I'm like, I'm gonna be seen on that screen and a scene with Eric Roberts, and I'm like, I just shot that at my brother's apartment, that little clip, you know. So it's interesting where technology has come. 8-track, phones to the wall, mobile phones, and footage where you could be seen on a screen in Chinese theater.
Oh, it's amazing. It's just because, you know, I like I said, I've been an editor on, like, you know, video and audio publications, and I was doing it back when like camcorders were just first starting out.
Oh, there you go.
And we'd edit video with like 2 VCRs and like a little thing in between them to maybe add some audio or whatever. And with, you know, really crude special effects. And with this, it's like anybody can get on their phone and go buy a piece of software for 50 or $100 and do everything that we did. And I mean, and you could do it better, if you were like really good.
Oh my goodness, that right there was tops. That was great. Like, I would never have known you shot that on your phone.
And candlelight. It was all candlelight.
Well, it looked great. It added to it.
Oh yeah, we really wanted that mysterious kind of feel for it.
Well, you said you shot it in his backyard, so you didn't want those pink flamingos seen, did you?
Exactly.
That's not too far off, actually.
Yeah.
You didn't want those garden gnomes showing up in the video.
No, actually, the 4 videos we shot, all of them were shot. 3 in the backyard, 1 on the side of the house.
One of the side of the house.
Well, you know how it is. You just kind of get a different angle and different lighting, and you're in a different location.
So you didn't shoot it on the side of Angela's house, and then she wake up one day and say, "Is that my house?"
That would have been funny. That would have
been funny. I've never been to her house though. I've always seen it in Zoom calls.
There you go. Well, I need to ask, how did you two connect?
So we were both going to. There's a great jazz program at the Colburn School of Music in downtown LA, and they have an adult jazz workshop where it's it's not Colburn is mostly young students, like I think elementary through high school level, right?
Basically, it's like an arts school. It's kind of like, but I'm not sure if they have a graduate, or an undergraduate program. So it's kind of similar to Juilliard or something like that on the West Coast.
It's a really kick-ass music school, and but they have an adult jazz program, which is for like jazz combos, and there's a great teacher named Liz Kinnan. And so I was I do a jazz jam session every week or two. And so somebody that came to my session was in that. He talked me into joining the 130 class, which he was in because they needed a bass player, because everybody always needs a bass player. And so Ron was in the 3 o'clock class, 3:30 class, whatever it was. And so we did I'd kind of seen him coming and going and stuff, but we did our concert together, and I was like, "Well, this guy can really play. Like, he really sounds good." And Ron, like I said, everybody needs a bass player, so
that's true.
Ron called me for a gig at some point. You already had the gig at
I don't know, did we?
Yeah, so Ron had a gig at this place called the Myrtle Tree Cafe in lovely Monrovia, California, adjacent to like Pasadena and all that. And so Ron's bass player, I guess, bailed on him, and he needed a new bass player, so he called me, and I showed up, and I didn't screw it up too bad. So we had been playing gigs for, I guess, a couple of years before this happened.
Yeah,
at least 2 years.
No, we've been playing together quite a bit, actually, and that's really important. It's kind of like, the chemistry of like a film crew, the chemistry of a work crew, or the chemistry of a band makes all the difference in the world. So you got to get along with your band. And we got along, and the other players in the band are great. We actually cut a CD with that group also.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Whoops. There we go. I can't even called the Green Street Jazz Quartet.
Oh, and there you go.
Yeah. This was a live album at the Myrtle Tree Cafe. Before the Myrtle Tree Cafe died away in COVID. They hung on for a while, but COVID.
Well, we've had a few places even around here, COVID. I hope we're able to get through that. It's been just a hassle, like I said, I got double vaxxed. I'm looking forward to going to one of the horror film conventions this fall. And it's like, I miss it, and I'm the only one in my family that's ever traveled. So
oh, gee.
And I didn't start traveling until 2017. So there you go. And I'm 49 now.
There's
I'm
still
late at it.
time.
Huh?
There's still time.
Yeah. Well,
Nowhere to go right now.
yeah. We should all go to Angela's house.
Absolutely. She's going to have us over. She makes a great martini, and we can, barbecue up some steaks and just relax in the Southern California sun. It'll be great.
My goodness, you're making me hungry.
I know I'm starting to get hungry also.
So yeah, you two made a connection. Now, no, I can make a guess here, but I want to hear it from you guys where the name Take Two comes from.
No.
Well,
that was a big mistake.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Well, we were, I think we were just on the phone with Angela, and she said, "What are you going to call it?" And we kind of thought about it for 5 minutes, and I came up with that because you may notice we're two people.
Are you sure?
So, and so I think
All I can say is we thought about it 5 minutes. We should have thought about it 6 minutes.
Yeah, because there's some other bands called Take Two, and there's like people who have albums called Take Two, and so finding us on Spotify might be a little challenging. We'll see. We're not up there yet. We'll be up there like kind of any day now.
Probably
it's been submitted, so we'll see. But it's also under our own names. So Ron Cyger and Brent Butterworth, Take Two, and we'll find out. It's a common problem on Spotify that you can search for like a tune name or an album name or something like that, and it comes up. You got
thousands.
If you search for a jazz tune, you want to find some version of All the Things You Are or something. Hundreds of recordings will come up.
Yeah.
You could have called yourselves Beyond 8 Tracks.
Well, where were you about a year ago when we were naming this? Actually, there probably is a group called Beyond 8 Track.
Yeah, but that would have been
a cool name.
That would have been a good starting point for some brainstorming.
Then you move up to vinyl.
Exactly. Actually, vinyl is making a huge comeback.
Yes, it is.
Right now. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I always find it funny because I like vinyl and I like CDs. I was not a cassette person because, they get all caught in there and all this. I was glad to graduate to CDs. I'm glad vinyl's making a comeback, but I don't get these people. Maybe it's a collector's thing. People that still buy and collect VHSs. And people are surprised I don't do that. I'm like, no, I'm glad to graduate to a Blu-ray.
VHS was kind of a mistake for the world.
People really do that?
Oh, yeah. I've got a book over there on VHS collecting, and I was just fascinated with the phenomenon of it. And I was like, I got to read about what this is all about. From a collector standpoint, I probably get it, but it's kind of like, I kind of like the idea of putting a DVD or a Blu-ray in, go to whatever scene I want to if I need to, not have to rewind it after, not have to worry about whether it's going to get jammed. I don't miss that.
VHS was a big mistake. Everyone should have gone Betamax when that was out, But once DVDs and Blu-rays came out, you should take those VHS tapes and just use them for target practice.
I wish you could recycle them. Well, that's the whole thing. Is like cassettes and vinyl still sound good. I mean, they don't sound. They sound it's kind of not that much worse than a CD, but VHS. I mean, that's a terrible picture. I mean, it's just terrible. There's just no upside to it at all. It's just awful. Except I don't know. Maybe there's some old '80s movies that you can get only on VHS. There probably are.
Actually, some of those movies actually look better on VHS. But anyways, we won't go there.
Well, I've got a few albums here on vinyl. I haven't gotten to collect a lot of them, but I've got a few vinyls here. So I do love the sound of vinyl. I gotta admit, my parents had the 8 tracks, they had the vinyls, they had cassettes, they had a few CDs. But
Yep.
you know, but yeah, you mentioned 8 tracks. I'm like, yeah, my parents still have one of those blasted machines. I
Yeah,
remember
but
they used to play, what was it, Cookie Country on that thing?
oh boy.
Oh boy.
I think we
And you turned out so normal. I don't understand it.
it's like the thing that's so great about some of these old formats is just that you have something to read and you
Yeah,
have all the
yeah.
information, and
Yeah.
that's kind of why we did a CD, because a lot of people don't even bother anymore. But we kind of thought it'd be nice to send people something where they can read and see who wrote what tune and who did the mastering and what the songs are called and things like that. And so I think it still makes sense from that point, but I think we have the expectation. I mean, we're not even really like actively promoting it until it's out on streaming, because there's so many people that can't even play a CD anymore.
They don't have CD players.
I
Cars don't have
still
CD
get
players.
physical media.
Yeah.
Yep. So I still got CDs and
Yep.
and I got a CD player packed away here somewhere.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm old school. I still like I'd like to physically have a CD and pop it in and listen to it. And I admit it, when the vinyl renaissance hit us, I tried to dig up my old turntable and I couldn't even find it. So I got a turntable and I've actually listened to records, and it's really, really wonderful being able to look at that album and actually read the liner notes. Remember liner notes?
yep. Like
Yeah.
I said, I got some vinyl over there.
Yeah.
A few that that I picked up, and you want me to show you a little bit of my collection?
Yeah.
Sure.
Just a minute. Just give me a second.
Smells good.
There we go. Because a lot of times, too, album covers are phenomenal.
Yeah,
Here's
exactly.
Lee Aaron,
Yep.
Canada's own. Kind of a Conan the Barbarian thing going for her. She's also into jazz now. But this here, Metal Queen was her big song on that. I've got
Is that Pat Benatar?
Pat Benatar.
Wow.
Pat Benatar. A lot of us liked her growing up. And of course, another
Pat
Oh yeah,
Benatar.
Ben.
Pat Benatar. Yep.
But those were days when you had great album covers, and I think our album cover is pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Yeah. It's just, oh yeah, there you go.
Wow.
A little Alice Cooper.
Yep. Oh yeah, that looks great. I've got a few in here. Oh,
In Excess.
In Excess. That was a great album. Yeah. And here, speaking of great album covers,
I can't see that.
Can't
Can you
quite
read?
see it.
Cyndi Lauper.
Oh,
wow.
I forgot about that.
I love that album cover. Yep. Yeah, we got a lot. I've got a lot of great vinyl in here. Nina, 99 Red Balloons.
Oh God! Wow, you got like
Wow.
a pile of '80s stuff in there.
Yep. Well, I grew up with a lot of this.
Yeah.
I got Didn't have her on the show, but I've interviewed Tiffany though.
Debbie
But
Gibson.
some of the best album covers that I've ever seen come from the folks I have separate in this little bag here. And these are some of the best album covers. And I've got everything pretty much this band has done.
Oh wow, yeah. Oh, so that's
Cars.
that's 70s, yeah. That's,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Late 70s, yeah.
Yeah.
I love the Cars.
Mm-hmm.
I was so sad when we lost Rick Ocasek.
Mm.
Yep. Like a lot of these I got at the flea market, and before I had a turntable, but I had to just grab these up.
Yeah.
Because I like everything the Cars have done. And it's just, look at the album covers. Like, I don't know where they come up with these, you know?
They were geniuses. They actually had artists working to make your cover, you know? It's
And this one here, I think, folded and because it goes back like that as well.
Yep.
Heartbreak City, yeah, or Heartbeat City, I should say. So yeah, they had a lot of good stuff, and I got a few doubles in here. I've got, and I got the Smiths.
Oh, cool.
Wow, that's cool.
Yep, Hatful of Hollow. Yep. So, not that I wanted to get us off on a different tangent here, but you mentioned vinyl, and I was like, I remember those days going to the record stores, and in fact, that movie
going through the bins.
Oh yeah. Well, I remember that movie Rock of Ages that Tom Cruise was in had a scene.
Oh, that was a good movie.
I love it. Love that movie.
I don't think I've seen it. Rock of Ages.
There's a scene where they go into a record store.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, it just took me back, you know? That was a great movie, yeah. But, and especially the way they combined music. Like, I love rock and roll with Jukebox Hero, for example, and the record store scene. That's just some phenomenal stuff, and very underrated movie, and I loved it, yeah. But yeah, those are some of my vinyls.
Cool.
And you want me to tell you something? I still don't have a turntable yet. I gotta get one.
Come on.
Yeah. The station has one though.
Ah, there you go.
Yep. But yeah, I just kind of I grab these for when I do get a turntable, but those ones there took me back. So I grabbed those when I saw them. So yeah. So it was always fun because today everything is, like I say, streaming this, streaming that. I love the days where you could pick up an album and just appreciate the artwork and look through it. And vinyl was really great at that because even going back into the station, you know, they have a vinyl section. It's just, I spent a good 2 hours in there one Saturday afternoon just, oh my goodness, I remember this. I remember this. It just blew my mind, you know? Yeah. So you guys have another tune you guys want to play?
We could.
Sure.
We could.
Sure.
Yeah.
This tune was actually our first tune, and that we did together.
Mm-hmm.
And 1 second while I pull it up.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this. I'm very impressed with that last video you guys played.
Well, this one's totally different.
Is this one shot on Angela's house?
We'll let you guess, actually. This is actually the first tune we recorded together when we were exchanging the 8-track player and all that. It's called Fandango, and we had actually played it quite a bit.
Okay.
And it's the only tune I think on the album that only has bass and sax.
Yeah, and we lost the original recording stems, so this is like a rough mix that we threw together with we couldn't correct anything. This is what the two of us sound like.
This is raw. So here we go, called Fandango. And here you go.
I'm sure it's good.
Here you go.
Okay. That was great. You call that raw? That was great.
Actually, when you listen to the CD or the streaming, it's going to sound, I'd say, at least 14 times better.
You know what? I don't know. You actually can get better than that? Really, that sounded great, and it looked great. I love the change in the backgrounds too, the colors.
Oh, thanks.
It's what we could do. I can't remember what the original plan was, but I have a green screen, so we shot it on the side of Ron's house with the green screen, like in the afternoon, and we just kind of did, and Ron's wife Susie shot some of it with my phone, and we shot a few more shots, and I think I planned us to do some kind of background, but there was too much like bleeding around the edges and stuff, and it wasn't working right. So I was able to just do the colors. I was like, that'll have to do. And
Did Susie get a cut?
And she did. She takes it every day from me. Let me tell you.
The masterful editing technique was basically just switching whenever one of us moved off the screen or made a stupid face or something. Then I cut to the other guy, and I just went back and forth, and there wasn't a lot of thought.
You know what? That looks great.
Thank you.
No, I mean seriously. Like when you guys said raw, I was like, what could this be? I'm like, that's raw? I'm like, it looked
Well,
great to me, I'll tell you.
Raw and cheap.
raw and cheap.
Really cheap.
All on
It's
cell
about
phone.
the same as going to a restaurant and get the finest cuisine and then saying, yeah, this was the appetizer.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
That's my thought here. You know, you just delivered an appetizer that looks like a full course gourmet meal.
Yeah. Well, thank you very
Thank you.
much. We really appreciate it.
Yep, I'm impressed. Like if you say that's raw, I'm like, I say it's well done.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Yeah, those are the cuts that went up on YouTube and all that, and you can find them, play them on YouTube. But we'll be up on streaming if you're really into the music side of it. We'll be up on streaming, and those sound really masterful because they have been mastered really very properly and all that. Not that Fandango and Billy's Bounce.
Yeah, but
And
those
Buddy's
are
Bounce.
the sound on the videos. I was just telling Ron while the videos were playing, like, I gotta fix those because the sound on the videos is the original sound that we threw together for mixes just to entertain people on Facebook. I mean, we didn't put any work into those mixes at all. We just kind of. So we have the album sounds a lot better than that actually.
Wow, then I'm impressed. You've sold me.
Thanks.
All
Yeah.
right.
So when are you guys gonna do a vinyl?
Come
Come on, I showed you all these vinyls. You got to do a vinyl.
Yeah, I suppose if there's enough demand, how many are you going to be buying again?
Well, it depends on how many Angela's not buying.
That's a lot of CDs are surprisingly cheap to do, but vinyl's really expensive, and you got to have it remastered for vinyl too.
Yeah.
You can't use the same master.
You can always have the liner notes be pictures of Angela's house.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We could put more dog photos if we did vinyl.
Oh my goodness, that'd be awful.
Even more dog photos, more photos of my Missy. That would be wonderful.
There you go. See, the wheels are turning.
Yeah, I suppose, but they're turning the wrong way is the problem.
Well, if you know what, I don't even know if I mean we've sold a couple CDs, but I don't I have to think most people are just going to stream it. So, but if people start buying it, then we could look at doing vinyl. But the jazz market is like. It's weird. The jazz market's really weird because jazz hasn't really adopted streaming that much. Jazz is like, it's like 1% of the overall music market, about the same as classical. And but jazz has about 3% of all physical media sales and only 0.3% of all streaming. So,
really?
Yeah, it's a really giant skew. Like jazz fans are still buying.
They still like
hard
those
media.
CDs.
Still like, and mostly CDs and some vinyl.
Yeah.
And some people are putting out cassettes again. So
yeah, I've actually seen a few cassettes.
Could happen.
But what's also coming in are those little thumb drives. You stick in your USB.
Yep.
Yeah. So putting your music on a USB so you can easily transfer it to your hard disk and all that. Those are becoming popular also.
Yeah, that's what I put all my interviews on too.
Exactly.
To put the MP4s on there. Yeah. We mentioned the Blues Brothers and Rock of Ages. Have you two seen Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story?
Yes.
Love that movie. I've interviewed the kid that played Nate, the one that gets halved.
Yeah.
That really goes through all kinds of music, but there's definitely a section there, beginning of it, where it's jazz and blues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually watched. That was an early pandemic movie for me, and I will confess I was drinking a little bit more during the early stages of the pandemic, and I don't necessarily remember everything I watched because I was just sitting there, kind of like we were all so sort of shell shocked about everything, and
we were all drinking during the pandemic.
Yeah,
except
and
me.
so for the first part of it, I was kind of I don't know, sort of celebrating a little bit, kind of going like, well, I'll make the best of it. I'll sit at home and watch and catch up on my Netflix and stuff. And, I'm like, well, I can still have some wine, right? And I'd have wine and make a couple of burgers, one for me and one for Missy. And Missy and I would sit and watch stuff, and I'd drink some wine, and
Missy.
so yeah, so my memories of I was watching so much stuff. Like every night I'd watch a movie or two, and I was kind of thinking like, well, this will be over in a couple months, right? And
we all were.
And we're still in it, but so yeah, I can't. There's a lot that I watched back then that I really don't remember. Sadly,
You know what?
I remember a little bit about it.
I didn't stay home because I work as a cleaner. That's what I make my money at. I do this for fun. But it's like tonight I had done cleaned 2 buildings before I came here.
Oh, wow.
And then after I'm done here, I've got another one I got to go to. So
wow.
I was an essential worker through this whole thing.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
My supervisor took a week off for vacation last year, and I laughed because she came back a day early and said she was bored by midweek.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't take any time because why take time off to hang out my apartment when I'm doing that when I'm not working?
Yeah.
My cat's over there asleep, and he don't work at all, so he doesn't work while I'm not working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. But no, it was wonderful having you two come on here today. I was wondering, do you have any charities you're both involved with that you guys want to plug and promote on here?
I don't think we have any. We don't have anything we're both involved with. I don't think.
No, but during the pandemic, along with a lot of other people, we started a nonprofit organization called Los Angeles Birders. It's for people who are birding and seriously into birding. So we really want to promote we really want to promote and strengthen the bird community so that people are more comfortable going out birding and advocating for birds and for the birding habitats and things. And so you can look us up online. We're at labirders.org. We have lots of great webinars dealing a lot on the scientific side of ornithology, but a lot on the identification side of bird watching. So that has been, besides working on Take Two, and that's been my big push through the pandemic.
Well, you guys must have a web page.
It's www.labirders or Los Angeles Birders.org. It goes by either LA Birders or Los Angeles Birders, whichever you prefer.
Okay.
Yeah, so check us out.
Absolutely. So what's up in the future for you guys?
Well, right now we're kind of finishing off this project. We did finish the recording, we finished the production, and now it's kind of run the promotion stage. And so I can see it going another 6 months, a year, or whatever on this project alone. But even though this is winding down, we're on the downside of the slope at the moment. So maybe something else will be coming along.
Well, and we've actually rehearsed, we did all the material exchanging files and did it all multi-track, but we have rehearsed this with the quartet, a couple of these tunes. And so it's quite possible that once we start playing gigs again, we'll be gigging some of this material. But with a piano player instead of a guitar player. And also with a drummer instead of us banging on things.
Yeah,
should be good. It's actually the couple of tunes that we've tried sounded really good. Yeah. So different, but
and we have a great quartet. So they're really creative, wonderful, high-level musicians, and I'm looking forward to. We've gotten together a couple of times since the pandemic's kind of been slowing down, but now this Delta virus, everyone's kind of backing off a bit more, but we'll get there.
I keep hearing I keep hearing about the Delta virus and you invade to go to Toronto this fall, blah, blah. I'm like, look, I can't live in fear all my life, like I never had COVID, but it's kind of like, I kind of want to get out and do things. Like I was at the
Yeah,
mall, I went and saw the Suicide Squad at the theater, and about 75% of people weren't wearing masks. So I think a lot of
yeah.
people just want to get back to as normal as they can.
Of course they do. It's been quite a while since that we've been locked down or being careful. I
Hmm.
just I don't want to do something that we're really kind of sorry for 6 months down the road.
Yep.
Yeah, but you just don't know where that point is. Now, if you had COVID and breathed blue air when you had COVID, we know and everything would be great. Unfortunately, we don't know. But I do know that Brent only spends time with his dog, so I feel
Pretty
safe around
much.
Brent.
Pretty much. So, but our immediate plans are to have dinner and a couple cigars.
Yeah, that's
There you
coming
go.
up. Yeah.
So,
And Angela, of course, has been a cheerleader in your corner. I know because she's contacted me a lot about you guys.
oh,
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
Well, we definitely have to thank Angela. She's been wonderful. She's been very supportive through the whole project.
And really the whole thing was kind of her idea. I
Yeah.
mean, she's
Mhm.
the one who saw what we were doing and said, "You guys should do an album. You should do it on my new label." And we're kind of like, okay."
And by the way, when you look at the CD, by the way, the CD is gorgeous.
Mhm.
It's based on let me get a little closer.
There you go.
It's based on an old Columbia type of CD,
I
but
like that.
you notice that the number on it is 1. We are the Outrageous 8 Records first album to be produced.
That's
And
fantastic. That's an honor, huh?
yeah, we're a little proud of that.
Mhm.
It's always good being number 1.
It
Yeah,
is.
it's stake in the ground for better or worse.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Is there anything else you two want to promote or talk about before we close off?
I mentioned it before. Angela is Angela O'Neill, and she does have a band called the Angela O'Neill and the Outrageous 8.
Mhm.
You can find us on Spotify, or you can actually go to our website, angelamayO'Neill.com,
Mhm.
and purchase the physical CDs. We have several, half a dozen CDs out, I think. Under Angela O'Neill and the Outrageous 8.
There you
You can
go.
also, at the same site, you can also purchase our CD. And I know the Outrageous 8 Records have another 3 projects in various stages of being completed right now. So it's going to be an exciting musical project that is unfolding. So.
Yeah.
Well, I just scheduled her for her interview.
Good.
Yep. So she'll be coming on here, and I'll be sure to tell her what wonderful musicians she has sent my way.
Oh, good.
Well,
Yep.
thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
It was an honor having you two come on here today. I appreciate it. And by the way, like I said, I didn't know I could do the whole shared screen thing. I mean, I
There you
learned
go.
something today.
There you go.
Yep. Well, she had asked me if I could play the video. I knew nothing about, so I'm glad you were able to do that. So that because I like the fact that you know uh we do the interview and then there's the video in there and the
And a break.
song
Yeah.
and then more interview and then like so on. I like that.
And with Angela O'Neill and the Outrageous 8, we've done several videos, and they were all recorded individually, like you did in the bar scene or whatever. They were all recorded individually and then put together as Brent did for us,
Mm-hmm.
but with an 8-piece band, and Angela out front singing, and it's just some of them are spectacular. You will have a great show, and Angela is very dynamic. It'll be really wonderful.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I thank you both for taking time out of your day to come on here and talk to me tonight, and your afternoon, my evening.
And thanks, Greg, for having us on. We really had a good time.
Thanks for having us on. It's been great.
You know what? I had a great time with it. Absolutely, absolutely. And like I said, in the future, if you guys have a new album coming out or whatnot, come back
You know
on.
where to go.
Yeah.
You're our first stop, I can guarantee you.
Well, you know what? I appreciate that. I enjoyed having you both on here today, and yeah, we'll continue to support you guys.
Cool. Thanks,
That's
Greg.
great. Thanks, Greg.
Absolutely. That is take two, folks. I'm gonna get you two to do a plug for my show before we cut off.
Oh, okay. And
Just
one more thing. So take two, but search for it under Brent Butterworth or Ron Cyger, and it'll cut you through all the other take twos that are on Spotify.
That's right. That's right. Well, just introduce yourselves and say you're listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise, and do that dynamic however you want to do it.
Since I'm on that side, I'll start.
No, I'm on that side.
You start then.
No, you start. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll start. You go it, and then we can go in unison, like we are take two.
Oh, okay.
And you are, it's Python's Paradise, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Hit it.
Hi, I'm Brent Butterworth.
And I'm Ron Cyger.
And we are Take Two.
Take Two.
And you are watching
Python's Paradise with Greg Gilbert.
Absolutely. That was great. A little bit of Smothers Brothers in there at the beginning of it. Thank you so much. God bless you both. It was a pleasure and honor. I'm so glad that Angela O'Neill connected us. This has been a lot of fun. I did not know what to expect tonight, but boy, actually doing the multi-screen thing, that worked great. I'm so proud of this.
Great.
Good.
If you ever have any questions, you have my email address and all that. And
absolutely.
And we'll take it from there.
All right. You two take care. Have a wonderful night and keep creating.
Thanks.
Okay.
You too,
Thanks,
Greg.
God bless.
Yeah.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.